Hey, let's talk about moon phases and how they can prove that our Earth is a sphere and not flat. Welcome back to my 10-part series, Debunking Flat Earth. Today, let's talk about moon phases. So we know throughout a month, this is what our moon looks like. It goes from the waxing crescent all the way to the waning crescent, all the phases in between. This is what we see throughout every month. So even though we see the same face of the moon, we see different parts of that face because of what's lit, because of the angle that the sun is hitting it from our vantage point on our spherical Earth. This is kind of what this looks like from back far. So you look at all the phases of the moon and how the sun is shining on that side of the moon. From Earth, we see different parts lit up, giving us the moon phases. So if we're on Earth looking at the moon as it goes around, this is what we see because of the different sides lit up. So you'll see in this graphic, the right side of the moon is lit up all the time because in this illustration, we're outside of the Earth and the moon looking back at it. So the lit side always faces the sun. But if we're on Earth looking at the moon, it looks more like this. When it's on one side, you'll see the right side of the moon lit up. That's the waxing phases. When the sun is on the other side, lighting up the left side of the moon, that's the waning phases of the moon. This is exactly what it looks like. So when flat earthers say that the moon gives off its own light, please explain why the lit side of the moon always, all the time, 100% faces the light of the sun. So if the sun and the earth and the moon are a triangle, the lit side of the moon always faces the sun. Did you know that in the middle of the day, when you can see the sun and the moon at the same time, if you set a basketball down on the ground and look at it, it's going to be lit up exactly like the moon because the light of the sun is going to light the basketball exactly as it would the moon. So here's the phases. You might want to take a screenshot of this. We've got the new moon, the waxing crescent, all the way down through the waning crescent in every single month. This is when we can start to see it, and this is when we can not see it any longer. So the moon rise and the moon set times are here. So yeah, there's several times in a month where you see the sun and the moon at the same time. Easily explainable because of the phases of the moon and where we are in the triangle relation of the sun, the moon, and Earth. Easily explainable on a ball. On a flat Earth, there's a problem. You got the flat Earth, you got the sun lighting up this section here on the left side. The moon is floating around opposite of the sun. From our vantage point on a flat Earth looking up at the moon, why is the moon lit throughout a month in these different phases? Even if it gives off its own light, which ironically is always facing the sun, please explain on a flat Earth the phases of the moon. You can't. So flat earthers come up with this crap. The moon is a plasma. The moon is disc shaped. The moon does not reflect the sun. The moon gives off its own light. No, that's just hocus pocus ways of dancing around the fact that the moon is lit by the sun, and that's what gives us the moon phases every month. So conclusion, there's no flat earth model that can accurately explain why the moon stays the same size from horizon to horizon. So if it's traveling overhead like a train going by, and they talk about that perspective, the moon would be little on one horizon, big directly above our head, and little over the next horizon. It's just not that way. We see it the exact same size from horizon to horizon. The moon only shows us one side of itself. That's impossible on a flat earth. If the ball traveled overhead, we would see different parts of the ball as it went by. The moon is always lit on the side facing the sun. How do you explain that on a flat earth with the sun chasing the moon in the same circle? That doesn't even make sense. You can't make a model showing moon phases on a flat earth. So using moon phases and common sense, you can prove that the earth is a sphere.